This is Outlook Part 2, Lesson 1, Modifying Message Properties and Customizing Outlook. Many organizations run Microsoft Office Outlook in an Exchange server environment. This means that most of your workspaces, email, calendar, and contacts reside on the Microsoft Exchange server, which handles all the account management and message routing functions that you request when working in Microsoft Outlook. As one of the most popular email applications used in organizations, Outlook interacts with Exchange to perform mail functions such as sending and receiving email, setting delivery options, adding additional email accounts, modifying and setting various global options, and customizing the interface layout. In addition, Outlook is fully integrated with the Microsoft Office suite of applications, which provides options to create visually compelling and effective message content by using advanced characters, illustration commands, and formatting options. In this lesson, you'll use Outlook's advanced character and formatting options, configure advanced mail functions, modify global settings, and customize the application's interface to suit your work style and personal preferences. In this lesson, you will insert advanced characters and objects, modify message settings and options, configure global Outlook options, and customize the Outlook interface. Topic A on page 2 is inserting advanced characters and objects. When composing your messages, consider that your recipients will read them on digital screens. Even with steep advances in digital technologies, reading text on screen, especially in long blocks, can be challenging at best. Outlook provides a range of visual elements and formatting options that can help you convey information in ways that are accessible and engage your recipients. In this topic, you will use character and objects in email messages. So first we'll take a look at hyperlinks. And hyperlinks turn text, graphics, pictures, or almost anything else into a hot link. A text hyperlink, for example, appears blue and underlined, and when clicked will open linked content, a website, a new section within your message, or a file on the local drive or a network share. So I'll show you a few examples how to insert hyperlinks into your messages. I'm going to open up a new message form by clicking New Email. And I'll go ahead and address this to Maureen. We'll just call it Hyperlink Examples. And I'm going to type the text Example 1 here. And we'll link this to a website. So I'm going to add the text to that as well. Now let's say I wanted to link this word website, so when I click on it, it will take me to a specific website. So you might have text in your message, for example, click here to access google.com. So you can link your text to different websites. So I'm going to select the word website here, go up to my Insert tab, and in my Links command group, here I have the option for hyperlink. Now, you'll be glad to know the hyperlink dialog box is the same dialog box that shows up in all of your applications for Microsoft. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, these are all the same. So they're very consistent in that manner. So those of you that have been with me through other applications know the first thing that you want to do in your Insert Hyperlink dialog box is choose the Link To button that you're working with. So you have 4 different buttons here. You can link to an existing file, so a file that you have saved on your computer. You can link to a web page. These 2 options are shown on the same middle screen here. For an existing file, you would choose it in your Look-In field. For your existing web page, you would type the web address at the bottom here. So let's say I wanted to link the Word website to google.com. I just type my address in here, click OK. Now you can see it changed the text to blue and it's also underlined. Now when I hover over that, A little screen tip pops up. It shows the email address and it tells me control plus click to follow the link. So when I hit my control button, my control key on my keyboard, and click that, it's going to launch my web browser and it takes me to that exact website, google.com. Okay, so that's an example of hyperlinking to a website. Do another example. We'll do link to file. I'm going to select the word file from here. Go back up to my insert tab, hyperlink. So again, my link to is the first thing I want to choose. This time I'm going to do existing files. So that's the same button for this option, but this uses this top section here. Now you would select your folder where your file is located. If it's not shown on this screen, this last button, file option, browse for file, you could click that and then you could navigate to exactly where that file is stored. So I'm going to go into my home drive and I'll just link this to an Excel file. I'll open up to Excel Part 1. We'll do Getting Started and we'll do Develotech Holiday Schedule. It's going to show where that file is stored, the whole path name located on the bottom. So that's my home drive. Again, Excel Part 1, Getting Started with Microsoft Excel, Develotech Holiday Schedule.xlsx. I can click OK from here. Again, the text that I have selected appears in blue and underlined. To test out that hyperlink, hover over it, Control click. You might get a message, do you trust the sources of your hyperlinks? For our server, we do trust them, so we're going to open that up. You do have to be careful what links you do activate. But you can see it's launching Excel for me, and it goes ahead and opens that Develotech Holiday Schedule. All right, so that's linked to another file. Let's see, link to, what are our other options? Don't even remember. I'm going to go right into it without even putting that text. I'm going to go to my hyperlink, place in this document. So I didn't even add the text for a link to what? I can actually put it right into the text to display of here. We'll do place in this document, and it will actually add that text where my cursor is. So here you have the option top of the document. If you have any headings added into your message body, they will be listed here for you, or any bookmarks, which we'll get into later on. I don't have any headings or bookmarks set up, so my only option here is the top of the document. Click OK from here. You can see it added that text in. So right now my cursor is located after the word document. When I do Control and click here, you can see once I activated that hyperlink, it automatically brought my cursor to the very top of the message body, or the top of that document. Okay, so that's another example of a link. And then we also have open up our hyperlink. We have the option to create a new document. So I'll put that in my text to display, link to create new document. You can name your document here. I'll just name this example. You can choose where it's going to be saved. I'll go ahead and keep it in that folder of documents. And you can edit the new document later or edit it now. I'm going to edit it later so it opens up when I click on the link. Click OK from here. I get that text to display, create new document. Control and click to follow that. You'll get a security warning. If you wish to continue, you can, and open that file. And there it goes. It launches Microsoft Word, and it created the new file named example for us. Okay, and then the last example, link to, I'll go back into my hyperlink, and this is linked to an email address. So you can actually link to create another new email. So I'll do link to email. We'll do link to my email address, egroff@mos.local. We'll type in the subject of questions and concerns. Click OK from here. We get that link to email text. Control and click. This brings me to my Outlook web version. Same idea here though. It's going to create a new email message automatically addressed to that email address I typed in there, and you can see it automatically has the subject set up for questions and concerns. So you can link to create a new email as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and send those hyperlink examples out to Maureen. We also have the option to insert equations into our message. So I'm going to go open up a new message, address this to Maureen as well. Leave the subject open for now. If I wanted to add an equation into my message body, I could go up to my Insert tab, Symbols Command Group. Here I have my equation drop down. Insert New Equation. This is going to open up my activate my Equation Tools Design Contextual tab. And you can see I get the box here where you can type your new equation. So on your tab here, you have all different kinds of symbols that you can use that you originally might not know how to type in using just your keyboard. And you wouldn't have access to them on your keyboard. So lots of different mathematical figures. You have Greek letters, letter-like symbols, operators, arrows, relationships, scripts, geometry. All those different symbols, and you also have options for typing in fractions, scripts, radicals. So a lot of this is advanced mathematical figures here, but depending on your career that you're in, you might need to use these. So lots of different mathematical things. So you can add the inverse function of the sine. And you just click outside of that box and it inputs the equation for you. We can also add symbols into our messages. And the symbols feature allows you to select and insert symbols in a message, such as those for currencies, trademarks, and basic mathematics. So you saw how we inserted equation symbols or operators. We can go up to our Insert tab, Symbols Command Group. Here we have a symbol drop-down. In this box will either be any recently accessed symbols, or if you haven't recently accessed any, the most commonly used ones. So you can pick one from this small gallery here, or you can go to More Symbols. And you have lots of different options here. You have a bunch of different fonts you can choose from. So you can choose different categories from the top. And then depending on which category you select, you'll have a bunch of different options from your gallery here as well. So when you find one that you want to use, just click on it, click Insert, and you can see it will insert it where your cursor is currently located. And then you can go ahead and close out that dialog box. We also have the option to insert horizontal lines into our messages, and this makes it easier to break up different information within your message body. So wherever your cursor is located, in that same symbols command group, here you have the option horizontal line. And wherever your cursor is located, you can see makes a line there. Again, sometimes it's for easier readability to break up different passages within your message body. You also have the option to insert tables. Let me bring my cursor down a little bit here. And to do that, we can go to our Insert tab, Tables command group. Here we have our Tables drop-down. You can choose how many rows and columns using your grid along the top. So if you wanted a table, let's say with 5 columns and 4 rows going across, here we have a 5x4 table. I could just click that last cell in the grid for my size, and it will go ahead and insert that size table into my message body. And then I can go and insert my different cell content by clicking in each cell. Another option to insert your tables, Insert tab, Table drop-down. Here you have your Insert Table option. You could choose the number of columns, number of rows using your spin arrows, and choose your table size. You can fix it to a column width, specify the width in that field. You can auto fit it to the contents, so however big the text is in each cell will automatically make the cell that large, or you can auto fit to the window, and that will stretch it across your whole entire window to make it the size of that message body. Okay. Next, we have the option to insert charts into our message body. And charts are graphical representations of your data values and their relationships. A chart allows you to display simple to complex data relationships to identify various patterns and trends. So you put your cursor where you want your chart located, go up to your Insert tab, Illustrations group, and select Chart from here. This opens up your dialog box where your different chart categories will be listed to the left. Then within each category, you have your types listed along the top. And you just hover over the different type to display its name. So if I wanted a 3D clustered column, select my column category, hover over until I see 3D clustered column, select that, and click OK. Now what's going to happen is a little Excel spreadsheet is going to pop up in a separate window. And I'm going to resize this so I get the full view. You can see right now I have 4 categories and 3 series with a bunch of random numbers. This is just sample data. It really means nothing to what you're about to, input. Nothing on your individual chart that you want to create. You just want to overwrite this information to include, again, the data that you want your chart based on. So if I had maybe Classroom 1, Classroom 2, and Classroom 3, and then I wanted to display the difference between men and women in each class. Maybe Classroom 1 has 3 men and 7 women. Classroom 2 has 10 men and 5 women. And Classroom 3 has, let's say, an even 5 and 5. Now, you can see as I'm changing the figures here, the chart in my message form is actually updating based on the information that I have here. But I also have additional category and an additional series. Now in the colored sections here, I only want it to include my data. So you can see this little square in the bottom right hand corner of my blue section. If I hover over that, I'll get a diagonal arrow. I want to click and drag only to include up to the women and only down to include classroom number 3. I want to then delete the extra data here. So I want to select delete to delete that row information. I can right click on column D to delete that column information. So I deleted the row information, column information that was extra here. And then I can just click X to close out that. I might need to click back onto my message again. And you can see my chart has been updated to reflect that data that I put into the Excel spreadsheet. All right, and we'll get into working a little more with our charts more in depth as we go along. But it's the same as all of the other applications in Microsoft as well. Our Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook is the same, has all of the same features on our contextual tabs. But we will get into those again for all of the new users. Your next video will be Activity 1.1 on page 9.